Hey guys, Janelle Copeland here. We have been sharing 12 days of Christmas tips to help you get through the holidays and win and just enjoy the holiday season. And we're in day 8, and today I want to talk to you about something that comes up often, particularly for women who are driven and goal-oriented, and that is imposter syndrome. So before we dive in, I want to ask you to leave a comment below and let me know, have you experienced imposter syndrome? Is it something that you struggle with? Is it something that is kind of triggering for you? And when was the last time you experienced it, if so? For me, what I have found is that when I have been in situations that were new, around people that I haven't experienced before, usually around new opportunities or new projects, that's when that self-doubt starts to kind of creep in and you start to question whether or not you're worthy enough to be there, whether you're just being lucky. You start to almost downplay all of your accomplishments and then just question everything. And that can be really unhealthy. It stems mostly from comparison, which is something lots of women struggle with, myself included sometimes. And so I just want to share some things that I have found to be true about imposter syndrome that hopefully will help you. So let's talk a little bit about what it is, when it shows up, and what you can do to kind of push through imposter syndrome. So what is imposter syndrome? So the term imposter syndrome was coined in 1978 to describe an internal experience of intellectual phoniness in people who believe that they are not intelligent, capable, or creative, despite evidence of high achievement. And so I think that's the one tip that I'll give you is you start to feel unworthy, you start to feel incapable, you start to feel like maybe you don't belong because you're not stacking up the evidence, that meaning all of the things that you've done that have led you to this opportunity, led you to be successful, led you to this very moment. If you are there, then that means you've earned the right to be there. And so I want to just challenge you, number one, if you find yourself feeling like an imposter sometimes, the best thing you can do is kind of create a quick list, maybe mentally or even on paper, of how and why you got yourself there. What are some of the achievements? I'm sure you've worked hard, I'm sure you've overcame struggles, I'm sure you've had challenges, but somehow, some way, you have arrived at this opportunity or found yourself in this room or amongst these people, and that means simply that you're worthy of it. So I found this quick video on TikTok and I want to share it with you because I think it kind of hammers home this point.
I've decided not to have imposter syndrome anymore because honestly, like, if I have somehow swindled everybody into believing I'm like beautiful, smart, and talented, and like all of my achievements have been done through some clever scheme where I've like slipped under the radar and like bamboozled everyone into liking me somehow, like good for her. Am I really gonna ho-hum around because I'm like so clever I've tricked everyone into loving me? Like, no, that's something to be proud of. So either I'm actually a good person and I actually deserve the things that I've gotten in my life, or I'm one of the most brilliant schemers of all time. Like, both sides of that coin, I'm winning. So if I'm an imposter, I'm a good one. #villain era.
The other tip I want to share with you that I find really works for me is a lot of times your feelings are false. I tell my students often, your feelings can lie to you. And so you might be feeling like an imposter, feeling like you don't belong, feeling unworthy, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're not capable, but that's simply not fact, right? Again, kind of gathering the evidence that got you to this point, gathering the evidence of all of your former accomplishments, whatever things you've done in the past that have led you to this success right now, that is evidence. And so I feel like women in particular, we need to stack that evidence often. So a fun thing that I recommend my students do is have a folder, maybe on your phone or something, where you have the most amazing testimonials, you've got sweet messages people have sent to you, you've got accomplishments of different things that you've done, to where when you're feeling kind of down on yourself, you're feeling like an imposter, all you gotta do is go to that folder or go to wherever you're storing all of these wins, and you kind of just have to roll through this Rolodex of victories to help remind you what a badass that you are. So that's a trick that I use. I've got a folder on my iPhone. Anytime someone tells me that they've hit a revenue goal because of my coaching, anytime someone thanks me for a podcast that I've put out that has changed their life, I usually snap a quick picture, put it in a folder, so that way on the days that I'm feeling a little bit down or low and I need some encouragement, I can find that encouragement in myself, not have to seek it from others. And that's kind of where I want to end this, is reminding you that no one else is going to cheer you on unless you can cheer yourself on. And what I mean by that is you've got to acknowledge your success on your own. There's this study that shows that many women won't even apply for jobs if they don't feel qualified. The truth is, you're never really going to feel fully qualified for something you've never done before, right? So let's stop maybe focusing on the negative and the lack of qualifications, and let's start stacking up some of the wins and the victories and some of the experiences that we have had in order to pump ourselves up and make ourselves feel more successful, more worthy, and just more capable. So I hope that those quick tips help. We could spend so many hours on imposter syndrome, but I want to invite you to let me know, when does imposter syndrome show up for you? And are any of these tips helpful? Could you keep a record of some of your successes and wins to help kind of pump you up when you need it? Could you start to look at things in a different way, maybe even when it comes to comparison? I like to watch other people win, and when I do see other people do better than me, I always tell myself, well, if it's available to them, then that means it's available to me too, so it can kind of help motivate me to take things to the next level. I hope those tips help. Let me know in the comments below what your experience has been with imposter syndrome, and I will see you tomorrow for day 9. Bye guys.